So my advice to the youth is that the unemployment is creating another opportunity on the positive side, giving you free time. What are you doing with that free time that you have?
Yeah.
Go to YouTube, read books, find people.
Sure.
You know how we celebrate our celebrities?
Yes.
Right now, if you see Shatawale passing, the number of people that will run to celebrate Shatawale.
Sure.
And let's say you see Despite passing, or any of the successful people that you know, how many people will run towards this person to celebrate him, to learn, right? Because he's the person you wish to be, right? So my advice is look for one person in your community, in your neighborhood, that is doing something that you intend to do.
Yeah.
And then go to that person and ask to learn from him. A lot of people reach out to me about
just like the way I've come to you. Hello, my lovely viewers, and today is another episode. I've managed to capture another big YouTuber after capturing Wadimaya, and I've been watching his video, and his content is very inspiring, encouraging the youth to go into agriculture or agribusiness, and I really like it, and that's why I've been hunting for God knows what. For how long have I been hunting? I've been calling your guy. He's not here. He's not around. Where is he? I'll see a video. Then you are in the farm. Then I'll be like, should I call? I shouldn't call. Honestly, getting somebody to interview is not easy.
It's not easy.
And the last part was that when I called, he said, I need to send a letter, and I said, my brother, this is not the time for letter.
I need the money.
I need the money. So he's going to brief us a lot into agribusiness, and I really appreciate it. So you tell us your full name. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Your name. I know Fred, but the full name?
the full name is Frederick Bennett Frimpong.
Frederick.
Yeah. Bennett Frimpong.
Bennett Frimpong.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
From Brekum.
Brekum.
Yeah. My dad is from Brekum.
Okay.
That's where the Bennett is from.
Okay.
And my mom is actually from Ga. So I'm half BA, half Ga.
Okay. So it's a mixture.
It's a mix.
That's a nice combination. So what's the name of your business?
So my business is called Farming in Africa.
Farming in Africa. That's the name of the business.
Yes.
Okay. But on the YouTube, I've been seeing something
Sementia Farms. Yeah.
So what is this Sementia Farm?
Yeah.
Is it also another business?
Yes. So you can look at it from two angles. So I have, I guess, multiple businesses, if that's what I should call it.
Okay.
So Sementia is a whole brand on its own.
Okay.
That has several businesses under Sementia.
Okay.
And then Farming in Africa is also on its own.
It's on its
own. That
own.
have different businesses under it.
Oh, okay.
So it's a two separate thing.
Two separate
Yes.
things. Oh, okay. Okay. So what is the role in the business?
What is my role in a business?
Yeah.
I mean, I work in all the business,
as the CEO or
as the CEO, the founder of both businesses.
Okay.
And I still see it as a very growing, emerging business.
Sure.
In different sector, in education, in tourism, in construction, in farming. So it's a broad one. So we do everything we have to do.
I interviewed a lady 2 days ago, and she's in 6 businesses.
Yeah.
And you are also in multiple businesses.
Yes.
Is it becoming the norm of the day?
It is. I think Africa has a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
And there's so much. And that's why I could never stay in the States, right?
Okay.
Everything, if you're an entrepreneur, which most Africans are, right? And what we need to just sharpen our skills. But if you're an entrepreneur, all what you see is opportunities to grab on, right? And to me, it just started with one. Okay. And out of it growing, the focus is seeing a problem and wanting to solve that problem. And once you solve that and you start building on that, then it flows.
That's good. You made mention that you moved from the States. Is that where you schooled?
Yes, I actually schooled in London for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And also schooled in the US as well. I also schooled in Turkey. So
Turkey.
Yes, I've gone to.
So you're having a bit of this, a bit of that. How about Ghana? Did you school in Ghana?
No, I got admission into University of Ghana, but I went there for 1 week and then I left. So I went to one class. I didn't get a seat. I had to stand outside.
So you got pissed off and decided to.
No. So I don't even talk about that. But I did get admission to University of Ghana and then started traveling. So I went to Turkey. Yeah, I studied in about maybe 7 or 8 universities before I finished.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I think when I started traveling, I realized that some people will say I'm smart, but I don't think I'm book smart. Okay. I think I'm more of
opportunity smart.
Yeah, street smart is what I'll call it, right?
Okay.
So when I had the opportunity to study, I realized I rather want to build network and expand my knowledge and skills as compared to studying and passing, right?
Than having just a certificate.
Yeah. So even though when I was studying in Turkey, I was coming to Ghana like 5 times in a year. I already had a business going on in Ghana, a travel and tour company. So
what is the name?
It's called Can Do Land Tours.
Can Do Land Tours.
Yeah. So I started that when I was 18.
Really?
Yes, that was my first official business.
Wow.
Yeah, and started it from Facebook. So I don't know. Sorry, we are moving all the way.
Yes. But
I'll let you guide me.
Yeah. Oh no, but it's good you are talking about that. So is the education, the traveling education, gave you all these opportunities?
I would say the resilience, right?
Okay.
I was hungry.
I
wanted to change my life, right? So I think that was the push, but definitely the exposure. You can only envision how far you can see. Right?
Okay.
So if you're used to hut building, and we ask you like, oh, what kind of house do you want to build? You can only dream of what you've seen.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, I feel like the exposure, the people I've met, the travels, and all these things has sort of shaped, I guess, how far I've come.
Okay. So now let's come to farm in Africa or the dementia farms. Okay. Why did you choose to work in line with agriculture? There are other, but actually, what did you actually study?
Everything. So I told you I've been to several schools. I've studied international business. I've studied business and finance. I've studied marketing. I've studied entrepreneurship. Basically, every university I moved to, I studied something different. So
you didn't really study on agriculture?
No, I have no background in agriculture.
So why are you in agriculture?
So long story short, so I started building a school in my community. So I have a school called Sementia School in Brokum with about 600 students. And I came back from the US somewhere maybe 2016, 17, and realized that the kids weren't getting enough protein to eat with their meal. You know how our Ghanaian or African food is very starchy focused. So I decided, how do we add protein. To the meal? So I said, you know what, let's buy a cow, which by then we were around 300 or 200 students. So I was like, let's buy a cow and see how long it lasts. So I purchased a cow for like 5,000 cedis, which was by then about $1,000. And then it lasted the entire school for 4 months, which was 1 semester.
4 months?
Yes.
Wow.
Right. So they chop it into pieces. Like they will buy it from the market.
Yes.
And then they will add it to their soup and stuff. So I realized, that means that if I want to continue doing this, I'll have to buy a cow.
Almost every 4 months.
Yeah. And since I was young, the age of maybe 17, I started buying land.
Wow.
So I have land all over. So I started buying land, and I realized I have enough land that I could actually start a farm, to feed the school.
Okay.
So why, instead of me buying it, why don't I start a school farm that I can use to feed the school? So I started researching into agriculture and wanted to do cattle farming. So I went to the States, visited some cattle ranches in the States, trying to learn. Then I think I went to Mexico as well to do a bit more research, and I came down, built the ranch, started the farming, and then started poultry as well to use the egg for breakfast and then the cows for meat. So that's why I went into farming. The goal was to go have a farm to feed the children. that was why I went into farm.
Very interesting. So you saw a problem, and you wanted to solve it.
Exactly.
But that solving is not just solving, but it is turning into even a business.
Yeah. That's
and it has got nothing to do with what you've studied in the classroom.
No. I've never taken any course on agric or anything.
So far, everybody that I've interviewed on my set have dropped whatever they have studied, and they are into something different.
Yeah.
Is it that what we've learned in school is not exactly as what is in the real world?
I think it's not really. I always knew I love business. From childhood, I will pick things and go and sell. Like, I was always selling.
You always want to see money running.
Yeah, I was always doing something because I'm a very independent person. From childhood, I always buy my own clothes.
Really?
Yes. The only time my family will buy me clothes is Christmas.
Wow.
But so I always find ways to make my own money. So I knew I wanted to do business. So I did study a lot of businesses, courses in school. So I'll say I'm still doing that. But most often, we don't have the flexibility. One thing I realized in the States and also in the European countries is that even when you go as a first year student, you get to take the core subjects, and then you have the flexibility now to choose your major. But I think in Ghana, once you are admitted as an economic student or this student, it's hard for you to have that flexibility.
You are studying a whole bunch of things.
Exactly. And then by then too, you're probably 18, 19, 20. What do you really know about the world and the reality on the ground to make such decisions, right? And then what practical experience have you had to be able to get to a point where you say, this is what I enjoy doing, or this is what I think my passion or my skill set would drive.
So how were you able to break that barrier where even at the age of 17, you had the knowledge, the skill of acquiring a land? You went to the States, you took advantage of the opportunities there, and you started creating businesses. How did you break that barrier?
So there's
so that the average Ghanaian, or even somebody who is in the final year in the university, will have that knowledge to be able to do something. Because we have a lot of people finishing school, even some in the house, and have no idea what they should be doing.
So I think the land, I will give credit to Dr. Otabel. Actually, I was very young. I just finished high school, and I went to one of his seminars. I think he came to my church to preach, and he preached about generational thinker. And he made an example of buying a land and how he even wanted to acquire land for his university and something with the chiefs and so on. He talked about buying a land and having lands to be left to your next generation. So right after that seminar, I decided I was going to buy my first land. So I think it was on my 18th birthday, I went to, I can't remember the estate, and I bought my first land in Accra.
Really?
Yes, I didn't even have the money. I think I paid like 1/3 of the price. And I set my mind that I was going to buy this land, and I bought. Today, I haven't even visited that land. I don't even know where exactly it is. I know it's around Medina, but
Wow.
I scaled to a point where I don't think I'm ever gonna live there, right? So
Visit there because Medina has become developed.
yeah,
At the entire Medina area, they've really developed, and so maybe
that's what
you
I
pass
heard.
by
An
and
uncle
visit.
of mine is, I think, keeping an eye. He's always calling me to come and see, but
Then you need to go. You need to go.
I have to go. Yeah.
So, have you really worked for somebody before? After your universities, have you were you gainfully employed somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I didn't want to talk about
it.
I figured it out. Yes, I did. So I didn't actually finish university.
Okay.
I had one semester to finish, but before then I had started several businesses in Ghana, which one of them was also in the transportation industry. So I think a semester before I finished, I got recruited by Uber, because by then I used to live in San Francisco.
Okay.
To come to Ghana and start Uber in Ghana.
Wow.
So I packed myself and they shipped all my stuff. I'd actually paid for my house in San Francisco for like 1 year. They gave me all the money back and like moved me to Ghana. That was in 2016.
So you started Uber in Ghana
to come and build. Yeah.
Well, my lovely viewers, the man sitting here is a very big man.
Wow, look at you.
And he's having a huge experience in both agriculture and other diverse business ventures. So I'll leave his YouTube link. He's a YouTuber too as well. You forgot to add that.
Yeah.
He's a YouTuber too as well. I'll be adding his link to the description section, and you follow him, you subscribe to his channel, because he has got a lot under his sleeves to share with you. And please make it a point to at least watch every video of his every day, because there's something you will always learn from him. So
I hope so.
oh yes, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm telling you, because what actually captured my attention towards you was the grass you were talking about. I said, how can somebody be talking about grass?
Yeah.
What do you need grass? We have a lot of grass in Ghana.
Yeah.
So that was what actually captured my attention.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked you if you have worked somewhere before is, people get trapped in work.
Yeah.
They've been working, they are not happy with where they are.
Yeah.
And it's like they have rise up from the lowest point to the peak, and they've plateaued, and now they are descending.
Yeah.
So if you have worked before, do you still work there? If yes, why? If no, and you've stopped that job and now you are running your business, why?
So anytime I'm asked this question, I think entrepreneurial, which is running your own business basically, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. It's a very difficult career to choose, to be an entrepreneur.
It's a lonely path.
It's a lonely path, and you need to be disciplined, willing to trade something in your life to be a successful entrepreneur. So I know that it has freedom, it comes with all these things, but you need to ask yourself that, are you that kind of person? I've managed thousands of people, across Africa.
Okay.
And there are some people that family is so important to them. There are some people that it's just about work, it's just about money. You got to ask yourself, what is your path, right? We can all be entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We need a teacher, we need a doctor.
Okay.
Somebody got to employ the teacher, right?
Okay.
We need a lawyer.
Okay.
But if you think it's for you, right, then you got to ask yourself, what are the steps I need to take to be able to reach that dream?
Okay.
I'm not a big advocacy of quit your job and go and start now.
Okay.
I believe in planning.
Okay.
And I also believe that one of the secret to success is sequencing.
Okay.
Sequencing is, we might all have 10 things to do.
Okay.
If you do 3 before 1 or 4 before 2, your results might be different from somebody who did 1, 2, and 3 and 4.
Okay.
Right. So there's a lot of things that goes into it.
Okay.
And that's why learning, watching videos like this, talking to people that have done it, just capture the knowledge, learn, and there's so much, like I don't know how much to unpack for you. Right.
Unpack as many as possible. The reason I'm asking this is people are out there,
Yeah.
and they have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I created this channel to help the youths to be able to identify what they could do.
Yeah.
For instance, the batch that have just finished their national service.
Yeah.
The question is, how many of them will be employed?
Yeah.
Gainfully employed?
Yeah.
How many of them will join the unemployment association?
Yeah.
How are they going to eat? How are they going to survive?
Yeah.
Your story,
Yeah.
how you started, how you been able to manage, should inspire somebody to start.
Yeah. I think so. I understand, and don't get me wrong, that it is difficult to be in Africa without a job. But I would say that, and a lot of great minds have given this advice, and 2 things I picked from it, depending on the age that you are, is you're talking about people who have just graduated. Let's put the money aside and let's learn. At this point, you need somebody who will mentor you and build your skills, because you want to invest into yourself. I'm not that old. I've always been the youngest person in any company that I've worked for, any international company.
Really?
Right? But I'm always earning all the way to times 10 of what people earn. Right? Just because I invested in myself as a child.
Learning.
Right? So if you're 20, 22, 25, who are you? When you open your mouth to speak, you tell people who you are.
How do people recognize you?
Exactly, right. So you don't gain that just like that. You gain that by proper mentorship, by reading, by exploring, right? So I know you need money to survive, but what you need is to build yourself for the next 5 years to come.
Okay.
Right. When I was starting all those companies and trying to build myself, there's so many times I wasn't making money. You're a YouTuber. YouTube doesn't pay you to sustain you.
Even YouTube is not paying me yet.
Exactly. Right. But look at the work you're putting into it, because you're building yourself for something. Right. So my advice to the youth is that the unemployment is creating another opportunity on the positive side, giving you free time. What are you doing with that free time that you have? Go to YouTube, read books, find people. You know how we celebrate our celebrities? Right now, if you see Shatawale passing, the number of people that will run to celebrate Shatawale.
Sure.
And let's say you see Despite passing, or any of the successful people that you know, how many people will run towards this person to celebrate him, to learn, right? Because he's the person you wish to be. Right? So my advice is look for one person in your community, in your neighborhood, that is doing something that you intend to do. And then go to that person and ask to learn from him. A lot of people reach out to me about
just like the way I've come to you.
No. Right. And learn. Use the opportunity. COVID came. And so on. And as you build yourself, you will create your own value and price. And that's what I would say. Out of that, the ideas will come, the mentorship. You will be able to build something if you are interested.
Okay. So now let's talk about farming in Africa. What does it cover?
So when I went into farming to feed the school, I also realized how the livestock industry hasn't been given the attention that it needs. The New York Times did an article on Ghana, and the average age of a farmer is 60.
60.
Yes.
That means they are old.
So a 60 Ghanaian farmer probably doesn't have a smartphone. Even if he doesn't have access to the innovative ways of farming and technology that you and I can use this phone to have.
Okay.
So it was something that I was like, why? Why is nobody doing anything about this?
So meaning the youth are not even in agriculture.
Yes. And most of the youth are also given the excuse of capital and of access to this and so on,
yes.
which I'm sure we'll get in there. But farming in Africa, basically, I set it up to explore the livestock industry,
okay.
and bring innovation, okay. into livestock.
Okay.
And as I continue doing research, what I realize is that the key to succeeding in livestock farming is by cracking the feeding process.
Feeding process.
So I went to the US, southern US, across the border of Mexico. And I met a man who has 70,000 cows.
70,000 cows.
70,000. And I asked him, what is your secret to growing? And he said two things. He said, I'm able to scale because I have source of feed. 2, this wasn't started by me. I'm the 9th generation that is doing this.
So meaning that it has been passed on to him over and over 9 times.
So it's a generational thing.
Wow.
You and I, probably our father, our mother was farmers, but all of us left that knowledge. So we are not building on that, right? Because our fathers hope for us to do better.
Better.
And that better, they don't see it in agriculture, right? So I want to start a farm where I can create that generation. I want to be the first generation that set the platform for my next generation to build on. And that's why I built the YouTube channel to actually just share my experience. I'm not an expert in farming,
okay,
but I just want to share people what I'm doing, what is the mistake, what am I learning.
Okay.
So everything I was doing for the past 5 years has been experimental.
On experiment?
Everything. So I actually brought in an extension officer. He told me I'm crazy. Why would I spend all this money? Because I went into poultry, I bought 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
But that 10,000 had chicken from Cote d'Ivoire, from I think 4 sources in Ghana, from Holland, from Belgium. Because everybody who has the data to be able to tell you that this breed, this pork chicken from here, is what is going to help you succeed.
Nobody was able.
They don't, and those who have it even don't want to share, and there's no proper record.
That is another huge problem. Yeah. Sharing information, data in Ghana is very difficult.
Yeah. And that's why we have to break that. Because Ghana in 2018, that's the most recent data I have, imported 266,000 tons of poultry chicken.
Yes.
Do you know how much we produce in this country? 61,000 tons. That means over 200,000 tons were imported. So if you're sitting in Doma, whatever village, and you think if you share your knowledge with your brother, he's gonna, then you don't know what you're doing. And that's why the youth need to come, because the youth will have this information and will be able to do better.
Don't you think the way agriculture or agribusiness has been packaged, even from our parents, the school, to we the youth, is the problem?
Yeah, I mean it's
because even if you watch our billboards, the agriculture is being seen in a tattered cloth, dirty, like some hard labor.
Yeah,
is that not a problem?
I mean, it's part of the problem, but it's not all the problem, right?
Okay.
It's part of it because it's not attractive. It's not attractive. But attraction alone doesn't discourage people. It's not enough. Okay. There are people at Galamsey side digging. They look dirty, but they are still there digging. Why are they choosing digging over agriculture?
Because there's money.
There's so many people doing things that are more dirtier than agriculture.
But record is saying that agriculture is the backbone of every country, or even the economy.
Yeah, the economy.
But why is the money not being seen in the palm of the farmers?
So there is the value chain,
Okay.
right? So if a farmer grows whatever or have whatever livestock and he's not bringing it to the consumer directly, right, and it's going through middlemen, from transportation, from middlemen that will buy and sell, from cold room and so on, you loses the value. Okay. As compared to you bringing your livestock straight away to the consumer, right? So that needs to be looked at. So that's why I'm sure we then rely on the government to put in the infrastructure, like the roads. I know there's a rail line that has been built. Excellent. If I'm in whatever village.
But the railway line, is it going to the farm?
I'm just giving an example. That is, I'm just giving an example. I'm not being, I'm saying there is a rail line.
No, I'm just asking. It's a historical question to the policymakers. When they are trying to bring a project, what service is it going to provide? That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, but I think the question to that is, where does that project sit? Okay. Does it sit with the railway minister, or is it the agric minister, or are they combining to solve multiple problems? I think that's the question we need to ask.
So how many workers do you have in farm in Africa?
In farm in Africa, I would say a total of maybe 10.
10?
Yes.
Are they well paid?
It depends on what you mean by well paid. Yes, it's quantitative, right? Okay. Yeah. And I have a video that I recorded, and talking to a friend as well yesterday about the industry. Okay. I had a worker who left me.
Yeah, I saw that video.
You saw that video, right?
Yes.
And it's giving me a lot of thoughts, right? Because I have, as I said, a couple of businesses, and I know the salary range. Yeah. But a lot, I would say 90% of the people that will come and work for you in agriculture have not decided to be farmers. It's a stepping stone for them. So you pay the guy very well. He leaves to go and drive tricycle or a boboya or whatever. You pay him less, he's not motivated.
You pay him more, he gets the money and starts his own thing, or even when.
Yes.
So it comes back to, is it that agriculture is not well packaged? Or is because of lack of information and knowledge about it?
It's a couple of things. We haven't gotten to the point where, we are actually educating people, right, to come and be farm managers, to come and be, veterinary officers in farms instead of government. We haven't gotten there as a continent yet. So if you're watching me and you're thinking about what business to start, come start a business in agriculture where you're training people to come. Because if somebody comes to me right now and says, I'm a farm manager, this is my expertise, this is my experience, I've been under this farm, and I've gained this number of experience, and I want to come and manage your farm, I'll tell you, come your high, let's talk about money.
So to you out there who he has opened the door, he just said there's opportunity if you are interested to work in the agric industry. So wherever you are, whether you're in Ghana, Africa, or any of the Africa countries, or even outside Ghana, and you feel like you can work with him, please, the door is open.
Yes. As I'm talking to you, we actually designed a flag today for hiring, because we are hiring into our Family in Africa team. But the issue is, how many people have really, even if not school, been mentored by a couple of farmers when they had the free time, that today they can bring their CV and say, hi Fred, guess what? I work in this poultry farm for 2 years. I've done this in this goat farm for 3 years, and therefore hire me.
I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
Some years back, I learned the teachers and the nurses were given this allowance to motivate them to go and pursue that course because of they lack labor in that industry. Should the government have some package for agriculture allowances to motivate the youth to go into it? There should be some fund somewhere where if you choose to go into agriculture, they give a percentage of that fund to you you start. If it is well, they give you the remaining percentage.
Yeah, I think the government has a major role to play in promoting agriculture, right? I always make this funny joke.
But it's not being done.
I mean, not to the level that is going to shake something in agriculture. I mean, I know there is the Planting for Food and Job. That program was excellent, but again, it comes down to execution. There's a funny joke that I always make during COVID, that teachers were at home for maybe about 8 months or even more, and government was still paying them. I always say, if I was an agric minister, I'll be like, every teacher needs to start a farm during that season.
Yes, it's true.
And I encourage my teachers. Some of my teachers went into pepper, some went into pigs. In
Brekum, sorry.
Because they will see me, I'll come to the school with my Wellington boot from the farm. They know I move from the school to the farm anytime I'm there. So I was like, guys, you have 8 months home. Take this bulk money and go and start something. And most of them went into farming. And some even came to work with me. And when school reopened, they went back to school.
Wow.
And I would say that should have been a governmental project, because teachers were basically at home. And they were being given government money.
And they were just eating it.
You know, so thanks to you if you did something whilst you were at home to contribute.
And even, I think the teachers can help a lot in agriculture, because, for instance, as they are going on vacation during this festive season, I think they have a long vacation, like 1 month. And I think it's an opportunity for them to go into agriculture.